Hey folks, so as everyone's aware, over the past several months to a year, gas prices have steadily been increasing due to inflation. With the exception of, in the last couple of months, prices actually did come down a little bit. In my area, they came down 25, maybe 30 cents a gallon. This is partially due to the fact that our governor has temporarily lifted the gas tax in our state. It's also partially due to Shanghai and Beijing being on a near complete indefinite lockdown. Now, how long that lockdown lasts, I don't know. Knowing the Chinese, it's going to last a while. It's already been a while since they instituted it. But the gas tax will expire, I believe, around the first of the month. Due to that, I expect the gas prices to rise a little bit more. In fact, they're already starting to slowly creep up. In my area, the gas is already back up to $4 a gallon. It had dropped to about $3.79, I believe. Maybe $3.89. I can't remember honestly, but it is starting to creep up. It's already up to $3.99 a gallon, and it looks like it's going to hit above $4 here shortly. But what I wanted to talk to you about is that I got word that we're expecting intermittent gas shortages and potential gas rationing on the East Coast within the next week or two. The gas station Loves and Pilots is doing it. Pilot Flying J is doing it as well. These are truck stops. A lot of truckers use these. They're issuing notifications to everybody that anybody on the East Coast should be expecting intermittent, short-term gas outages in the coming week. The problem is, I don't think it's gonna be just a week. I think it might be longer. We're heading to a point where, we're headed to a point where our supply just can't stand up to the strain right now. And I want to go into a little bit of detail on that. Right now, Biden has been saying that he's going to ease gas pains at the pumps using any method available to him. But as he's telling people he's trying to ease gas prices, his administration is doing the exact opposite. They're actually going out of their way to make it more difficult to drill more oil. This is what I've heard others refer to, and I'm going to start referring it. It's Bidenomics. They want to help. They say they want to help things get better, but then they do the exact opposite. Here's what's happening. In the past week, Biden has canceled oil lease sales in Alaska and the Gulf of Mexico. These are drilling leases. They've canceled the sales on them. Now, the reports coming out of the White House are saying that this is due to a lack of interest from the oil industry in drilling in these areas. That's a straight out lie. Oil is over $100 a barrel. We don't have enough as it is. The world is struggling to find other ways of supplying oil, and in the midst of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, where they're trying to slowly stop using Russian oil. So at a time when demand is extremely high and supply is extremely low, Biden is blaming, as always, he's blaming somebody else. He's blaming the oil industry and lack of interest. But if you talk to the oil industry, anybody in the oil industry, they'll tell you they're not the ones that are they're not interested in drilling. They want to drill, but leases take time to develop. They take 2 to 3 years minimum to develop into a flowing well. So at a time when we need oil the most, Biden is restricting oil supply even more. Add to that, and again, I'm going to have articles linked in the description that report this very information. Add to that, Biden is exporting our oil to Europe to help with Europe's oil shortage from their attempt to try to cut ties with Russian oil. On top of exporting our diesel to Europe to help them. So we're just making a bad situation worse. Plus, Biden has been steadily releasing oil from our strategic oil reserves at a time when it can't be replaced, or it's not easily replaced. Our strategic oil reserves are at a record low. And yet, again, they're preventing oil companies from drilling. They're restricting them more and more and more. It's hard to believe this type of activity is due to incompetence. There has to be some intent behind this. So what this means is they're expecting there to be intermittent shortages, and there's a potential for rationing on the East Coast. This is affecting mainly the East Coast. I have heard an unconfirmed report that they're even looking at bringing some of the oil from the West Coast of the United States to the East Coast. All that's going to do is move the crisis from one side of the country to the other. It's not really going to solve anything. But here's the problem with all of this. Truckers are already expecting diesel gas to be very difficult to come by at times. Some are having difficulty right now finding fuel, and they're expecting it to continue to get worse over the next week or two. And the price is getting ridiculously high. The problem comes in where everything on our shelves in the grocery stores, everything we consume is moved by diesel trucks. Or it's moved from location to location using trains which use diesel, and then it's unloaded at distribution centers, and it's moved from distribution centers to stores using diesel trucks. So if truckers can't get the fuel to deliver this stuff, or if they can get it and it's extremely expensive, then we're looking at a major constraint on an already strained supply line. It's hard to believe, folks. I mean, it just continues to get worse day after day after day. And I don't believe there's any way out of this. This is going to hurt no matter what happens. So the notice being sent out by Love's and Pilot Flying J is that expect intermittent gas shortages, and higher prices along the East Coast. And they've mentioned specific states. The states they mentioned were Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. So expect over the next week for there to be more issues finding diesel to fuel up trucks. As a result, there's going to be more shortages on the shelves because product can't be delivered to the stores. Prices are going to go up accordingly. And again, they're predicting this in the coming week, possibly even as long as 2 weeks. I'm going to say it could last longer than that, because as all of this is happening, we are not replacing all of this oil shortage. We're only moving it around from one place to another. You can't fix a supply line by simply moving product from one area to another. You have to produce more product. And again, these oil leases take time to develop and start producing oil. It takes about 2 to 3 years minimum, for what I've been told. Sorry about the plane, folks. So again, expect intermittent shortages on the East Coast, the potential for lack of product on the store shelves, higher prices in the stores. If you drive a diesel vehicle, expect that to be harder to find fuel and more expensive to fuel up. And this is just going to be a self-feeding problem we're going to be dealing with for a long period of time, folks. So be prepared for it. If there's things you need from the store, I would strongly suggest you get them now. Top off your tanks. Keep your tanks topped off. Don't let it get below half a tank if you drive a diesel vehicle. And even if you drive a vehicle using regular gas, again, top off the tanks. Have some extra gas in cans. Never let it get below half a tank, because even the gas for regular cars, that regular gas is delivered by trucks that use diesel. So it's just a never-ending problem. I'm going to cut this off right now because I've got people down the road that are running four-wheelers, and that stuff's going to be getting louder and louder, and they're going to keep that going probably until midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning. So with that, folks, again, just top off your tanks, get some extra gas if you can, stock up on what you can from the grocery store or anything else that you might need. This is a crazy situation we're in, folks, so just do the best you can to get prepared. Have what you need for at least a few days, a couple of weeks. If you haven't got that, you're going to be in some serious trouble. With that, that's all I've got. I appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, folks, take care, keep prepping, and I'll catch you later.